Busy Moms Podcast, Episode 2, When Tragedy Strikes. Welcome back to the Busy Moms Podcast. You're here with Elisa DiLorenzo, and here at Busy Moms Podcast, we talk about marriage, motherhood, and all that goes with it. First, I want to thank you all for giving me such a great send-off with that first episode. It was one that had been a long time in coming, as we talked about, and just the encouragement that I had doing it, and the comments from all of you after it came out, just very encouraging, and I want to say thank you for doing that. As you know, you can always reach me at askalisa@oneextraordinarymarriage.com, or even call in on the listener feedback line at 858-754-9937. But getting to those comments, you guys are amazing. I had posed the question last week, what is your biggest struggle as a mom? And I was just amazed at the variety in the comments, the similarities that so many of us have, the insights that you have as you are going through these struggles in motherhood. One particular comment from Julie at Intimacy and Marriage was that her biggest struggle as a mom really goes back to the question. She has sons, and she said, am I paving the way for these boys to become responsible, God-honoring men? Because when we get right down to it, we aren't raising children. We are raising adults, and our ultimate goal is a human being who will no longer depend on us, but rather will thrive and be responsible with their own talents, dreams, and abilities. And Julie has been a friend for a while. We've had conversations back and forth through her website, Intimacy and Marriage, and ours, One Extraordinary Marriage. And so I really appreciated her insights because sometimes I think I get so caught up in the day-to-day struggles that I forget that really I'm trying to raise my children to be responsible adults. And so I really appreciate that insight from her. There were a lot of wonderful comments, and it's going to be something that I will be working my way through, sharing them with you, sharing some of the similarities over the next few weeks. This week, my whole thought for the podcast was that we were going to talk about those comments. And then this morning I get on Facebook, and there is a comment from one of the preschool moms asking for prayers for her husband, who had been admitted into the emergency room last night and then was subsequently moved into ICU with a head injury. And this family holds a special place for us because their son is probably what you would call Abby's first boyfriend. These two kids, they just really have an affection for one another. And so I saw one post from another mom and kind of tracked it back to see what was going on, and couldn't get much more information besides that post. And so when I got to preschool today, I saw a circle of our moms from our preschool class, and obviously information was being shared, and we're sharing what little bits we know, which a few hours ago wasn't much. And basically what had happened was this husband and father, who was a mailman, had been found unconscious along his route and rushed to the emergency room, and subsequently moved to ICU and put into an induced coma because he does have a brain injury, and they're trying to figure out the best course of action and what the next steps are going to be. And I was watching, I think there were probably 6 or 7 of us standing around sharing the information, and already you could see the wheels turning. This family has 3 children, one of whom is an infant, and the question started flying. Okay, well, has family come in to help? Do they need meals? Do they need help with the kids? Can we split up the kids so that everybody can, take care of one or all or some? And so it was really powerful to see, even in the midst of our own busy lives. I've got appointments here and schedules here. My first thought was, 95% of that is not so important that it can't be put off until tomorrow, or it can't be moved back a few hours to say, what is the immediate need right now? We have a family in crisis. What can we as a group of moms do right now to ease some of the burden from this mom friend of ours who 24 hours ago, I was talking about shopping at Old Navy with her, and now she is trying to juggle her 3 children and a husband who's in ICU in unstable condition, trying to figure out what's going to happen with him and what the recovery is going to look like and the prognosis. And the doctors don't have a lot of information. They're still trying to sort through this. And it made me realize the power of a group of moms. When we set our minds to something, when somebody is in crisis mode and, whether it's the smoke signal or the phone call, somehow we get the alert. We are such a strong force, really a force to be reckoned with, because within, 15, 20 minutes, we were talking about getting schedules together for meals and schedules together for the kids and relieving the grandmother so that she doesn't have, 3 kids round the clock. And I realized how strong we are when one of our own is in trouble, is hurting. One of the other moms was able to talk to the wife this morning, and the wife had made this comment, I don't know what's going on. I'm just trying to hold it all together. And I thought, gosh, how often have I been in that situation where life is upside down and I'm just trying to hold it all together? And then my next thought was, who are those friends that are there when I am in that crisis mode? Who's my network? Who are my circle of sisters to say, you know what, I'm sinking here. I need your help. I need resources that I honestly don't have. And I can think of specific times in my life when we've been in a crisis mode, we've been in tragedy, and my girlfriends have come out of the woodwork to say, you know what, it's our turn to help you. We know that when the tables are turned, you are coming to our aid. Right now, we are going to take care of you. And it's hard for us women to say, yes, I will let somebody else take care of me, because we're so used to, and it's actually one of the points that really came up in all of those comments, we are so used to being the doers, the ones juggling everybody's schedules, not only juggling, but coordinating and executing everybody's schedules. We're the ones who are, picking up all of the details, getting it all together. And so when we're not able to do that, it's a struggle for us. It's a struggle for us to ask for help. It's a struggle for us to receive that help. If we've actually gotten up the courage to ask for it, then to allow others to give it to us sometimes is really hard. And I think that's why I was, just so not amazed, because, we all have circles of women that are just awesome, that at the drop of a hat will be there, will do whatever needs to be done. But I think when we are in a crisis mode, when we're watching a crisis unfold, it renews my faith in the women around me when, I see we're not all caught up in the, okay, well, what kindergarten, are you going to kindergarten? Are you going to PEP? Are you going to, what are you doing with the kids? What summer camps are you doing? All of that takes a back seat to the immediate, we have a crisis. What are we going to do for our fellow mother to ease the burden that she is in right now? And it's one of those things where when we get down to the nitty-gritty of life, when, the superficiality of all of the stuff, all of the things that tend to fill up our days, when all of that has to be pushed aside and we get right down to the nuts and bolts of it and say, you know what, our relationships are number one. Whether it's our relationship with God, with our spouse, with our children, with our friends, we are by nature relational people. And so when tragedy strikes, we need to be there for our friends. We can't run in the other direction and say, I'm too busy, I don't want to get involved. That is when they need us the most. They need, whether it's a meal delivered at dinner time or a shoulder to cry on, someone to listen. we are busy moms, but there's always something on our schedule that is probably, able to be pushed to the side. It's able to say, you know what, that's okay. We can take care of that later. And we have the ability to step up our game and to say, you know what, I am going to take care of you. This is my chance to love on you, to nurture you, to give you whatever it is that you can't do for yourself right now. And when we do that as women, it is amazing the impact that has on other people's lives. I can see it in this particular crisis situation where I know her children are going to have play dates and they're going to be cared for in the midst of this very uncertain time. I know that she's not going to have to worry about meals because, we've probably got, I don't even know how many moms are already on board. But, they could have meals from now until who knows how long. Coordinating different things for the family. It's just being handled. And she hasn't done anything but post up on Facebook, please pray for my husband. And that is the one thing that we did immediately. We were standing there, a circle of us, probably 6 or 7, sort of shoulder to shoulder as we're, hunkering down and figuring out what we can do. And I just looked at these women and I said, you know what, can we say a prayer for the family? And we did. And, it's been said time and time again, the power of prayer, but that was a very special time. Even though our kids have gone to school all year and things like that, the intimacy of praying together with friends can be, there's no other word for it. It was powerful. And, we're praying for guidance for the medical team taking care of him. And we're praying for strength for the wife and mother as she juggles all of this. And we're praying for the children, because daddy's in the hospital, and that's a hard thing to explain, especially to their little one that's in class with Abby. And, the older one, she's old enough to know what's going on. And then there's the infant who, is still too little to really know what's going on. But we know infants feel the stress and tension, and just for the family and friends that we have the guidance and the wisdom to be able to provide what they need at this uncertain time. And, if you have a network of friends like this, consider yourself blessed. It is a privilege to be able to help, even if it's not necessarily asked for, because sometimes we can't do that. If you are able to help in whatever your capacity is, in spite of your busy schedule, whatever your friends are dealing with, when you can help them, that is a privilege. It is a gift. It is a gift given without any desire or sense of reciprocal action. If you're like I was a few years ago when I didn't have these types of networks, seek out one friend. Start with having one friend. Early in our marriage, I didn't really cultivate my woman friendships. I knew people, but it wasn't like I had a lot of close girlfriends. And it's really been over the last probably 5 or 6 years where that has happened for me. And I am so blessed by the women in my life, by women like you that I am talking to today that let me know what's going on in your lives, that share your lives with me. You bless my life, and you give me the opportunity to pray for you and to come alongside you and to strengthen me. Because that encouragement, that giving that we have in our circle of friends, it's a two-way street, and all it does is build us up. And the stronger we are as women in terms of our relationships, the stronger we are overall. We're better able to handle a crisis because we know we're not doing it alone. We were never designed to be solitary people. That's why there are so many of us. That's why, you get stuck in rush hour traffic, because you weren't designed to be by yourself. We were designed to be in community, and our strength comes from our sisters, whether they are friends or relatives, there is strength in our sisterhood of mothers. And I encourage you this week, I encourage you to thank your friends for being your friends. Acknowledge the gifts that they have given you, whether it's somebody's a wonderful encourager or somebody is, just Mrs. Dependable. If you need anything, she is going to be there. Or maybe you've got the girlfriend who is the incredible baker, and she's the one that you can count on to take care of your sweet tooth, no matter when or where or how. She has got the goodies. Whatever your girlfriends do for you, take the time this week to let them know. And if you've got a girlfriend in crisis, be there for them. Let them know that whatever you are able to do, you will do, because that is a gift like no other, that gift of friendship. And so, sending love out to your friends will come back to you more than you will ever know. So again, this week, this is Elisa DiLorenzo. You can reach me at the listener feedback line at 858-754-9937, or shoot me an email. Tell me about your really good girlfriends. Tell me what they do for you, how they have blessed your life. I would love for you to comment on Facebook or on the website, or even shoot me an email at askalisa@oneextraordinarymarriage.com. I want to hear about these amazing women that bless you beyond a measure. And we juggle our schedules. We're busy moms, but there's always time for a friend. So until next week, this is Elisa. Make it a great one.